UTMB, 4 letters that haven't left me since the finish line in 2023. After a short return to Europe, an emotional run in Chamonix, a visit to Maison UTMB, I was back in Colombia, our new life. A life I chose after applying what UTMB taught me, that growth lies in the pain cave, in challenge, not comfort. It was UTMB that pulled me from the depths when I was made redundant. It gave me the courage to launch a startup, to recover from injury, and to move my family across continents. 40 years in France and Switzerland, 2 years in the Bahamas, and now Colombia. Another adventure, another classroom. UTMB changed the lens through which I see the world. I was shaped by the French educational system, a child of the Enlightenment, built on logic, measurement, and proof. A Cartesian mindset that taught me that what cannot be measured does not exist. But in the mountains, I discovered something reason could not contain. At Refuge Berton, when I was ready to give up, pain and exhaustion dissolved and something else took over. 25 hours later, after passing 700 runners, another night among alpine titans, 90 kilometers more, and 5,000 meters of climbing, I reached the finish line. Not because of a trained body or a disciplined mind doing a Goggins comeback, but because of something far deeper. A spark that reason can't explain. That fire became my compass. It pushed me to rebuild, to take risks, to begin again. Now, here in Colombia, I'm preparing to return to Chamonix, to take on this modern-day pilgrimage once again. But the path is steep. Qualifying, training, building a company, and raising a family, it's a mountain in itself. I'm still 10 months out, and like many of us, it's already time to plan that epic week, to nurture the hope that we'll actually get to partake in this odyssey. For most of us, the journey begins long before the start line, sometimes years in the making, as we collect the sacred stones and wait for luck to find us in the lottery. Since UTMB 2023, I've gathered 18 stones. I'll share the details in a separate film on how to qualify for UTMB, so don't forget to subscribe if you want to follow the series and maybe pick up a few ideas for your own preparation. I'm hopeful the draw early next year will open the door again. It's a long process, and for many of us, fathers, mothers, dreamers, the hardest challenge isn't race day. It's finding the time to train, to stay committed while caring for those we love. 10 hours a week may not sound like much, but when you're building something from scratch, every hour feels borrowed. I've come to realize that the most difficult part of an ultra isn't the race itself. It's getting to the start line, the commitment, the discipline, the sacrifices. They force us to ask, why am I doing this? We all think we know our why, but the truth hides beneath layers of convenience and ego. A Japanese engineering philosophy says you must ask why 5 times to reach the root cause. And so I've learned that to truly answer those 5 whys, we have to dig deep within ourselves. And we can only do that by taking on the difficult and inspiring journey, and inspiring where. Because when the journey itself tests every part of us, each why stops being a question and becomes a discovery. That's what UTMB is for me, a pilgrimage that draws the answers out of the soul, not the mind. And so the journey continues, another climb, another calling. Colombia is where I train the body, Chamonix is where I train the soul.
There you go, 2,900 meters. Whew, tough to breathe here. So after UTMB, I thought I was going to stop running. I thought that objective was fulfilled, and yeah, 2 years down the road, still running, and I'm not running for the sake of running. Never liked running, but I love the adventure, and just staying healthy and fit enables me to do these incredible adventures. So yeah, it's been a pilgrimage. And we continue trying to inspire others to shoot for their dreams, do the difficult things in life. And I'm really excited to be able to hopefully soon publish the book. But yeah, this is more of a pilgrimage than a sport for me. Beautiful, such a change from Switzerland, from Nassau. And I think what really motivates me is it's not running for myself, but as I said, really inspiring others, that normal people, ordinary people like me, who have a family, limited time, a job, or entrepreneurs, inspire them to embrace the difficult path, muster the courage to dare greatly, and greatly is all relative to what to ourselves. It's not greatly compared to others, but pushing our limits and showing that there's hope if we have faith in something greater than ourselves. And that something greater than ourselves could be others, inspiring others. So that's what motivates me on these great adventures.
With this new life in Colombia, I had to find a new training rhythm. Not easy when you're rebuilding everything, admin, school, settling the family. But we got lucky. Our Airbnb sits right at the foot of the mountain, and I can finally get proper elevation gain, something I could only dream of in Nassau. I still remember how frustrating I felt when we first moved there. Hardly any safe roads, no hills, only the same loop inside our gated community. It taught me patience and creativity. Strength work became my mountain. And it paid off, because that base helped me survive Ushuaia by UTMB. Here in Colombia, the playground is very different. The climbs are steep, the trails wild, and well, you need to keep an eye out for stray dogs. Not all of them are fans of runners. But being back in real mountains again, it feels like coming home. Every run here reminds me why I fell in love with this sport in the first place, for the adventure. Here in Chía, to the north of Bogotá, the training ground is ideal. I found this trail through Strava, my silent companion on countless adventures. It climbs towards Balvanera, and along the way 14 numbered plaques mark the Via Crucis, the stations of the cross. Each station is simple, just a number and a small plaque, but together they tell the story of the Passion, the falls, the encounters, the suffering, and finally, redemption. The climb is physical, but its purpose is a reflection. Each number a reminder to breathe, to pause, to remember that endurance has always been a language of belief. It feels strangely familiar. Every ultra has its own stations of the cross. Moments we fall, when someone offers a word of encouragement, when the weight feels too much to bear, and, if we're lucky, moments of grace at the summit. As I climb here, I realize that these stations are not only religious, they are universal. They speak of what it means to be human, to struggle, to doubt, to keep moving. The mountain itself becomes a form of worship of the human spirit. Mountains have always carried this meaning. Since the dawn of time, we've been drawn to them, compelled to climb, to see what lies beyond, to raise our eyes and expand the horizon of our world and ourselves. From Sinai to Olympus, to the Andes to the Alps, they have been the meeting place between earth and heaven. There's something sacred in the act of aiming upward, of choosing the harder path, of bearing our own cross. The pilgrimage to Balvanera is a mirror of every great climb I've done, each step a reenactment of effort and revelation. And perhaps that's why UTMB felt so much like a pilgrimage too. We enter it to test our strength, but somewhere along the way we learn that the real purpose isn't to reach the summit, it's to be transformed by the climb. After that inspiring climb, I refocus on the reality of getting back to UTMB. The road is still long, and I'll need to stay organized. With our new routine and the need to balance the launch of my startup with family life, the alarm will go off every morning at 4:30 a.m. I'll be running almost every day, about 10 kilometers, then extending those runs over the weekend, 15 on Saturday and a long run on Sunday, 24 kilometers with around 800 meters of climbing. That should bring me close to 100 kilometers and roughly 3,000 meters of ascent each month. I've decided to sign up for 2 new adventures in the UTMB World Series. UTMB Brazil, 100 kilometers through the hot, humid jungle, and UTMB Bariloche in Argentina, a 100-mile race in the cool, mountainous south. 2 contrasting worlds, both designed to test and prepare me, and to collect more stones along the way. If I can finish both, I'll have 22 stones for the draw, improving my odds of returning to Chamonix. In the meantime, I'll train as best I can, balancing work, family, and the call to the mountains. Balance is never perfect, it's a rhythm of focus, work, family, training, then back again. The journey is already underway. It's daunting, and that's exactly why it's exciting. As they say, if the goal doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. This training run has been exactly what I need. Technical, vertical, lush, winding through the forests on the outskirts of Bogotá. It's a reconnection with nature and with the mountains. I keep saying it, but after 2 years without a hill, it truly does feel like a blessing. The flat terrain in the Bahamas wasn't a problem for US races like Desert Rats or Kodiak. They were more runnable, less climbing, less technical. But Argentina and Brazil are another story. Their profiles demand vertical strength, and this trail is giving me exactly that. Each climb here reminds me of what's ahead, not just the next race, but in the long march towards the UTMB finals. And the next immediate goal is Brazil, a completely different landscape, a new country, a new playground. From altitude to sea level, from cool, crisp mornings to heat and humidity, something my body has completely de-adapted from. I know it's going to be a tough race, but by doing this, I'll not only earn more stones for UTMB, I'll get more miles in the legs, more experience in the pain cave, and another chapter in the story. I'm curious to see how it goes, especially after finishing strong in Ushuaia earlier this year. Can I carry that momentum forward? Will the altitude training here in Colombia give me an edge, or will the jungle break me in a different way? Only a few weeks to go before that epic jungle adventure. Am I ready? Will I survive it? Find out in the next episode.